Many thanks for being there. Now, the Zambian government has stopped the issuance of cordwood permits for charcoal production in an effort to control the rampant deforestation happening in the country. According to the Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Nzovu, the decision will initially affect 3 districts where charcoal production is rampant in the central and southern provinces before spreading to other parts of the country. Zambia is expecting a drought due to poor rains and a massive cutting down of trees over the years, contributing to severe droughts. To discuss this, I'm being joined by a climate change expert and an executive director, Africa Voluntary Carbon Credits Markets Forum, Angliston Tambani Sibanda. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Can you please unmute your device so that I can hear you? Hello, Angliston, can you hear me?
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
All right, good. We can hear you too now. How significant is the impact and the role of charcoal production when we talk about its contribution to deforestation, carbon emissions, and overall climate change?
Charcoal plays a big role, not only in increasing emissions, but it's also fueling deforestation. And I think the Zambian government has taken it's actually a positive step that the Zambian government has taken, notwithstanding the fact that from a climate change mitigation expert point of view, charcoal also plays a role in terms of regenerative agriculture and soil management. So I think it's a question of managing the balance. Remember, there is also a challenge of energy, which is affecting these communities that are having to rely have had to rely on coal. So hence it is very important for to have an investments into the just energy transition to ensure that while we are burning charcoal, we also plant trees, but we also make sure that communities have alternative sources of energy. So that balance is actually very critical, which is why the same thing that's going to affect our transition away from fossil fuels in Africa. We're going to experience a similar problem where there is a need to manage our environment, but at the same time, we still have communities that are dependent on charcoal.
You just mentioned the fact that you are throwing your weight behind what the Zambian government is doing and what should be done in substitutes for the ban. But then I'd like you to speak further on the potential short-term and long-term effects now of the ban on charcoal production permits, most especially as it affects the producers, the market itself, and the environment as a whole.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of issues. It brings with it issues of sustainable livelihoods. We have communities that have been dependent on charcoal production, whose livelihoods are now being affected all of a sudden. We also have communities that have been dependent on charcoal for energy, now that have got to find alternative sources of energy. And this...
Oh dear me, I think we just lost connection with Angliston right there. But hopefully maybe he can rejoin us on the news to talk more about this, if possibly we can accommodate.